No, really, that's it. That's it. That's enough. That's enough. I don't see how anyone at any level of this organization can justify feeling that these are the best people to be running it. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Padres 8, Pirates 2. That's 10 losses in a row. 10. Don't get stuck in the small stuff. I keep saying that. Don't get stuck in, who pinch hit for who, or Jared Triolo watching strike 3 there in the 9th inning with the bases loaded. What's another one? Mitch Keller struggling a little bit. Don't do that. That's what they want. That's what they want, to be able to continue doing more of this. And all you've gotten in now nearly 5 years of Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, this front office, this field staff, is more of this. They are now, and boy, do they deserve to hear this, 56-64. They are now 7.5 games out of the wild card spot. They are now owners, Cherington and Shelton are, of a combined 274 and 391 record. That's a .412 winning percentage. 4-1-2 usually makes for a fun theme around here. Not in this case. Only 3 managers in the history of Major League Baseball have had a worse winning percentage while having managed more games than Shelton. 2 of those came before 1945, and the other was with the expansion 1969 Padres. You know why? Because those people get fired before this stage. There have now been 3 losing streaks of 10 or longer under these 2 guys. 3 out of 26 total in the franchise's 143-year history. What are we doing here? What are we, I'm talking about me and you, not them. What are we doing here? Because I do it myself. We get caught up in the moment, in the minutia. And as I've been stressing all week, that doesn't even come close to telling the actual story of what's happened here. I gave other examples, and I'm not going to repeat those today, but how about Martin Perez? He's made 3 starts for the Padres, including his Sandy Koufax impression yesterday. He's got a 1.96 ERA, 21 strikeouts in 18 1/3 innings. On the San Diego television broadcast, they told the story of how the Padres pitching coach looked at a new arrival, they didn't mention who, saw something immediately that could be straightened it out, boom, just like that. What do you know? What a concept. That's big league instruction. Oscar Marin hasn't had a bad year, and I've said as much, and I'm not going to back off on that now. But if he has a shortcoming, it's that it still takes him too long to fix situations like this. Why? Because he's not a natural pitching coach. He's a biomechanics specialist. You could say what you want about Ray Searage, and a lot of people did on his way out. I felt unfairly, but that was Ray's thing. Ray would walk out to the mound and say, hey, kid, no, do this instead. And you'd see a strike with the next pitch. I've said it all along. If you want a biomechanics guy, then hire a biomechanics guy to be a biomechanics guy. But let a pitching coach be the pitching coach. And don't even get me started again on the hitting. 14 strikeouts yesterday after 15 the previous night. Averaging 9.4 per game, 4th most in the majors. And oh, by the way, Altoona leads the Eastern League. And in Class A, Greensboro is 2nd in their league, and Bradenton's 1st in their league. It's because of the approach. It's the general approach. I've told you guys many times that Marine and Haynes are responsible for all of the pitching plans and all of the hitting plans throughout the system. This is what you get. They strike out down there. What do you think they're going to do up here? Strikeouts don't matter anymore? Okay, somebody go tell that to Jack Sawinski right now. I can't. Between the inability to recognize, acquire, develop, nurture, instruct, or discipline talent, I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to say anymore. And I can't begin to imagine if the two of them, Cherington and Shelton, got called into Bob Nutting's big office today or tomorrow. And I'm not suggesting that they will, because Nutting's not any more competitive than any of them. And he, in fact, might be a whole lot less competitive. But if that meeting took place and he said, guys, what about this thing over here or that thing over there? Or how about not having any Latin American prospects? How about that? Only having 2 in your top 20 in your own organization. One of them is at 13, one of them is at 19, and they're both 19-year-old middle fielders in A-ball. What about that? What am I spending? Me, Bob Nutting, what am I spending $7.3 million a year on? And that's the maximum allotment in Major League Baseball's international signing cap. What am I spending that on? Why did I fly down to the Dominican to have this facility built? To have everyone tell me how state-of-the-art it is and how it's going to make such a difference. And there isn't a single player, not named Luis Ortiz, who's made an impact under the current Latin American scouting director, Junior Vizcaíno. And that goes back to 2017. Dude's done nothing but steal paychecks. And, of course, cash Nutting's checks for these signing bonuses to all these. You should see some of these bonuses. $2.5 million to Shailene Polanco, who's just a nobody in the system. I mean, that's money that, look, if you really stink at this, just let us know because we can spend it at the big league level. But everything is about obfuscating how badly the process has been bungled, and it has, and it is time. It might be past time for a change. And when you make a change, you don't make partial changes. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Ruben Niebla, by the way, is the name of San Diego's pitching coach. I didn't mean to leave the name out. The guy does a really, really good job there. Chris comes in with our J1Q and says, DK, I guess the takeaway now is simple. Our Buccos have sucked for years. They suck now, and they'll continue to suck for the foreseeable future. So what's even the point of having this team in my life? I've answered some version of this question countless times over the course of my career, and in a lot of really very different circumstances. But the one constant, and I bring this up a lot, and it actually makes some people mad, believe it or not, is that you don't really have that much of a choice. Respectfully here, Chris, you sent a question submission on our website, DK Pittsburgh Sports. You're a longtime subscriber, a valued member of our community, and a listener as well. And you did that after their 10th straight loss. And you don't have a way out, okay? You might think that you do, as I've dealt with some of those too. The ones that get mad when I say this. I'll show you I'm not going to pay any attention to you or this team. And then I won't hear from them for a while. The next time the Pirates have any kind of even remotely decent role or make like an acquisition that's worth more than a 9-point font headline, they'll be back right away. No hesitation, no apologies, by the way, and no acknowledgement of the time that they were gone. They've just been a fan since da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's okay. That's part of fandom. The team is supposed to make you mad. Maybe not this mad. The team is supposed to experience failure. Maybe not this extreme of failure. But if you're looking for something a little bit more concrete to my answer, Chris, I think I have something for you. The thing that's gone wrong, principally, with the last few years, and by that I mean really since Nutting took over in 2007, is that he's made a couple of, I don't want to say out-and-out bad hires, because there's also been some good ones in there. Hiring Clint Hurdle was just, I mean, we all knew it at the time, too. It was just inspirational. And the move itself was inspired. But yeah, getting basically assigned Frank Coonelly from Major League Baseball, getting Neil Huntington, who was like the 5th or 6th guy down in the Cleveland organization, having Kyle Stark come in to run your minor leagues after all he'd ever been was like an assistant volleyball coach at some college, which is why the scouts, by the way, for years derisively referred to him as the volleyball coach. And I'm talking about the Pirates scouts. And now here we are again with Ben Cherington, and then Cherington having hired Derek Shelton in his, I guess you could call it, flatline image. Everything is even keel. Everything is, very non-Pittsburgh-like. If you want me to be a jerk about this, I can do that. They're all very non-Pittsburgh-like. And I don't say that just because they're not from here. I prefer my coaches and managers and GMs and everything else to be competitive. Call me crazy. Say what you want about Mike Tomlin. You don't wonder whether or not he wants to win the game. Say what you want about Mike Sullivan across the river. You're not wondering whether or not he wants to win the game. These guys, that's the first thing you ask. But if there's hope, if you want to hang on to something, it's this. When you go back to the winter of 2019, after Nutting cleaned house, and admirably so, I might add, he got his own GM search, obviously with Travis Williams' help, down to 2 guys, Ben Cherington and Matt Arnold. He came this close to getting the right guy. Arnold's been in charge of the Brewers, and yes, the Brewers have a different owner and a different perspective on a lot of different things, but Arnold's been an infinitely better executive than Cherington, and the Pirates came this close, so it's not impossible. It's not as if he had a field of, 10 and narrowed it down to the 2 worst guys. He had the other guy sitting right there in front of him and could have hired him. So it's not impossible. In my mind, if you had the right front office and the right general manager, you can win in Pittsburgh, especially when you've got a Paul Skeens, a Mitch Keller, a Brian Reynolds, an O'Neill Cruz with the right instruction. But yeah, I can see where the woeful stuff will cross your mind. But no, you're stuck, my man. You're stuck. You're stuck listening to this show, actually, for all eternity. On that note, we'll be back with another one tomorrow just for Chris.